Tracy police have confirmed that investigators re-interviewed two people. One was a man who had kissed Sandra on the mouth 2 years ago.
I don't know nothing about her disappearance at all.
Police also say federal investigators towed away a car and a Jeep Cherokee with a canoe and executed 6 search warrants. 4 locations inside Orchard Estates, 1 in Tracy, and 1 in Oakdale in the Central Valley. Sandra Cantu was last seen Friday night.
My father-in-law had installed video cameras around the house 2 weeks before she disappeared. And the video caught her on the camera, walking away from the camera, which would be towards, going away from the entrance of the mobile home park.
A lot happening in this case. This little girl disappears after a play date with a little friend. Straight out to Blake Taylor with KMJ 580 News Radio. Blake, what's the latest? What can you tell me about police searching a dumpster? That can't be good.
A dump site, as a matter of fact. No, it's not. Nancy, thanks for having me back, by the way. Investigators, scouring through the trash at the dump site south side of Tracy today and yesterday, as a matter of fact. Now, they won't say exactly what they're looking for other than possible evidence. We don't know if they're looking for a body, anything like that at this point. They won't divulge any details, but we don't know if they found anything either. Cadaver dogs have been out the past few days as well. Obviously not a good sign. Police, but they say that's routine in a missing persons case like this. They say they're not ruling anything out right now. Police spokesman Lieutenant Jeremy Watney this morning said they're checking out anything and everything. You got to keep in mind, they're really frustrated right now because of the lack of movement and progress in this case. They say they're narrowing things down, but they've received nearly 500 tips in the past few days alone, 100 yesterday alone, that they're having to research and dive deep into.
Everyone, the tip line, 800-843-5678 or 209-831-6847. With me right now, special guest, Lieutenant Jeremy Watney. He is with the Tracy Police Department. Lieutenant, thank you for being with us. Tell me about the search. Is it by ground, by foot, by air?
Hi, Nancy. Thank you for the time to talk about this case. It is by all methods. And just to clarify a couple things, we started looking at the trash site here where they bring in the trash every day to just cover all the trash coming in from the city of Tracy. We had nothing specific to lead us there to think that we're going to find everything. But it's one of those things we need to do now because then down the road people ask, hey, why didn't you at least check? We are checking everybody's trash that is coming in every single day just to cover that base.
Lieutenant Watney, I'm so relieved to hear that. Just recently, I'm sure you're familiar with the Haley Cummings case we're coming down and covering in Satsuma, Florida. You know, a month after the fact of she goes missing, the police searched a particular dumpster. Now, I don't know if they searched it earlier. If they did, we didn't know about it. And the big question was, what took you so long? You know, these are basic, elementary things. I'm glad you did that. At least you can rule it out. What about the rest of the search, Lieutenant?
The rest of it, you know, it's interesting because a lot of people continue to bring up the fact, oh, the odds aren't in your favor and things like that. But the cool thing about odds is there's always odds on the other side of the ledger. And I know I'm following a tough story with what happened down in Florida, but I refuse to believe that our case is going to end like that. Today, as a matter of fact, we had more people in our briefing between the FBI and the other agencies that are helping the Tracy Police Department. And I got a really good feeling in the briefing that we're locking onto some good leads and that this investigation is heading in the right direction. I think everybody's feeling pretty upbeat about, you know, that we're starting to really make progress in this investigation.
Yeah, of course there's the cases of Elizabeth Smart, Ben Ownby. There are cases where children are found alive, and we're holding on to that hope. In the case of little Sandra Cantu, everyone, she is 4 feet tall. She's only 45 pounds. Brown hair, brown eyes. She's a second grader. Please take a look at this gorgeous little girl. Out to Sebastian Kuntz with KNEW. He's joining us from San Francisco. Sebastian, thank you for being with us. Sebastian, what can you tell me about the 2 people named as persons of interest and about some guy, about 60 years old, kissing the little girl on the mouth in a pool? That can't be good.
Again, you're right. It can't be good, but it's also one of those stories that doesn't appear to be going very far. This is, you're referring to Frank Wohler, a martial arts instructor and the owner of a martial arts shop in the Tracy area. By the way, not a low-key kind of a guy at all. This martial arts shop was actually rated the best in Tracy in 2007, so this is not a guy who is hiding from the limelight, but it does seem incredibly strange that I know that when I'm swimming, I don't make kissy face with people who I'm not familiar with at the pool.
Sebastian, good to know. But police are not confirming that anybody's been named a person of interest.
That is correct. I'm hearing there are two persons of interest, and the media is kind of glomming onto two of these men. One of them is Frank Roller, the other is Chris Sinclair, who was actually arrested for getting in the way of the investigation. It's unclear as to whether he is actually one of the persons of interest. Police are keeping a tight lid on the names of those people that they're interested in this evening.
I want to go out to a special guest joining us. This is Sandra Cantu's aunt, Angie Chavez. Ms. Chavez, thank you for being with us. Ms. Chavez, we are getting...
Thank you for having me.
Yes, ma'am. We are getting flooded with questions from viewers. Many of them want to know the living arrangements. You know, you have to rule out family, relatives, close friends, neighbors first. Who was living in the home?
Her grandma and grandpa, her mom, her older sister, or actually she's got two older sisters and an older brother. And then occasionally they have her nephew in the house.
And all of them, without exception, have been cooperative with police, correct?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Where's the father?
The father, from what I understand, he's here in Tracy now, but he was, apparently he lives in Mexico.
Was he in or around the home on the day she goes missing?
No.
Okay, so that pretty much rules him out. We are taking your calls live out to Chris in New Jersey. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Nancy. I have a quick question.
Okay.
I was wondering, I heard the family say that 2 weeks before video cameras had been installed. I was wondering if there was a reason why they had been installed. Because it just seemed very odd that
Good question.
something happened.
Back to Sandra's aunt, Angie Chavez. Ms. Chavez, I was wondering that myself. Why were the cameras installed coincidentally 2 weeks before she goes missing?
My father-in-law had his van vandalized twice, so he wanted to see if he could catch whoever was doing that. So that's why the cameras went up.
Gotcha. Out to Mark Class, president and founder of Class Kids Foundation. Mark, you've been right where the Cantu family is when Polly went missing. What's your take?
Well, they're dominated by fear right now. I mean, they have absolutely no idea where their little girl is. They're not getting very much information from police. They're unsure of what the future is going to hold, but they have to hold on to hope, because if they don't have hope, nobody has hope. It's a very difficult situation.